Welcome back, fam, as we bring you into the woods once again with episode 12, NorEaster Game Calls, Part 2. This episode, we recap on the CT guided hunt and what happened at deer camp. We conclude the mini-series of this exclusive experience with NorEaster Game Calls. This is the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast. And I am your host, DRock, here with
Trev,
Ryan,
here in Slayer's studio, hiding in the mountains of God's heaven. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Shebeen Brewing, CT's finest craft beer in Wolcott, Connecticut. The Hunter's Beer. 100 Demons, East Coast hardcore music known worldwide. Check them out at www.shopshogun.com. Trev's Euros for all your Euro mount needs here on Facebook. Tonight is made possible by CT Bowhunting, CT's #1 source for bow hunters. Download their app at your local app store, and it's free. That's cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Also made possible by NorEaster Game Calls. Get them in close. For all your game call needs at www.noreaster.com. We're here as always for new and old hunters by sharing our experiences in the woods through playing and slaying. What's going on?
what's good, DRock?
What is good with you, my boys?
Oh man,
Tired.
long past,
I'm
Tired.
saying, I'm beat today.
Yeah.
big time.
All
Definitely
day sitting.
beat. It's crazy. We had a hell of a week.
Oh, it's crazy.
Hey,
Out of control.
Yeah, it was out of control.
The
was
fucking last day, and I finally get a deer to walk by.
We'll
A
recap.
shooter, too.
We'll recap.
We'll recap. You got wait, Trev.
I just
wanted.
wanted-
I
I know
don't
that's what you're
really
worried about. That's what you're worried about.
That's how hard it was this past week.
Bullshit.
Fuck off.
Yeah, we spent way too long together. No, nah, just...
Oh, man. Yo, in honor of Veterans Day yesterday and observed today, why don't we just run a quick vet shout-out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Show appreciation
I'm
to
down.
the people that fought for us, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Veterans Day.
Hell yeah.
Happy Veterans Day, fellas.
I'll sip to that.
Thank you for your service.
Cheers
So
to
we
you.
can drink cold beer in the Slayer studio.
And talk English, not German.
That's right.
Of course.
That's badass.
Or Mexican.
Orale. So first I want to shout out Rich Bilodeau. He left at an E6 staff sergeant in the Army, and he was a field wire communications tech. He told me, honestly, back then he used to drink a lot in the Army and had a good time with it, but when it came down to business, that dude did a good job. He's actually my boss every day. I go to my
really?
state job, and he's my boss. 70-year-old dude, one of the most badass motherfuckers I ever met.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Number 2 is my brother, Damian Clark. He left at E5 as a sergeant, served with the Army for 10 years, 7 months, 10 days, he says. He started off as air traffic control, tactical side, and then ended up being a Pathfinder. This is one badass Mexican sworn in American. Straight
That's
up.
awesome.
I definitely look up to him, so we're going to have to return the favor, go out to Nebraska and guide him on a few hunts out there. That'd be badass.
Yeah, right?
Who you got, Ryan?
I'm gonna do a shout out to the Trotter brothers. Know you boys like to get out in the woods a little bit. I think one of you guys, Steve, I believe you're in Germany now, and Joe, you're back home again. Give a shout out to our
Is
buddy.
that red light?
What?
What?
Visit that red light district.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Army's got some kind of benefits when you get owned by the government. I mean, come on.
Right.
Who else you got?
Our buddy Joe Eller. He just was used to be out west doing some guided fishing trips. That's what he's into. Now he's back home here. Again, here from town in Coventry. And shout out to you. And then we'll go ahead. Of course, we got to shout out Josh LaPointe.
Yep.
One of our boys, been a long time from Marines. So, Trev, what we thinking here?
I got our buddy Jeremy Jenkins. Craziest man. He was in the Marines. We hunt and fish with him a lot. So got to shout him out. He did a lot of tours. Also, the Ekman brothers, Don and Andrew, they're also from town, hunting buddies of ours. And they were both in the Marines also. So, and I also got the bearded killer, Al Zeppi. He's also a Marine. So, shout out to him. Yeah, he's a big-time whitetail hunter here in the state and shoots some monsters.
Yeah, I've been seeing the photos.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's got a ton on video and on camera. Oh, yeah, zones 11 and 12. Yep, absolutely.
And I almost forgot about my boys back in the heyday, the Hills Click. You know who you are. All Marine Corps. Hua. So thank you. Thank you for letting us continue this podcast in English.
That's
We
right.
Yes,
appreciate
thank you.
Thanks for your service.
So from there, why don't we just get right into it? You know, I mean, let's start off with shouting out Shebeen Brewing
Yeah, dude.
for our deer camp fuel. I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Trev,
I
what
don't
do you
know.
got?
I'm on this
What is
new
that?
life thing.
What is that?
This is the Tree of Life. It's mixed fermentation series from Shebeen Brewing. This stuff is out of control.
What kind is it? Is it
I don't know. It's
kind of fruit?
It's a blueberry. It's like a
blueberry
blueberry
sour,
like
right?
Yeah, it's
It's like nothing you ever had before.
no, it's not even
But
a
it
beer.
goes down
It's-
quick.
It's out of control. It's 5.2.
Trev, what batch is that? What number
That's
batch is
batch
that?
number 2.
Batch number 2 ever. Brand
Wow.
new,
That's
brand
crazy.
new beer.
I heard they ferment that for a minute and barrel aged.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. This is
They
just
write 5.2, but you know that's not 5.2.
yeah, right.
It doesn't taste like it.
No. But no, we had a ton of awesome beer in camp all week, and it was awesome. Some Shebeen, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
We had a whole mess of them.
It's awesome for when we end the day on last light throughout deer camp, and we get back to camp, throw in the firewood, warm up the place, and then we start cooking, drink some good beer.
Cracking a
Absolutely, we
Shebeen.
got double IPA in deer camp. How good
Yeah.
does it get, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Filet mignon. What's that?
We had
cow
ribeyes. We
Trev?
had
What was that cow
Northern
we had?
Highlander.
Yeah.
Northern Highlander, and we did some ribeyes on that.
Oh, those
Oh,
are good.
nice.
Those were some Shebeen, and also Cadillac Cowboy stopped by, and he
Brought some boilwares, right?
brought boarwurst, but
No, we had that Jaeger.
he brought us some deer blood to put some
Deer blood.
positive vibes
Nice.
in camp. So
Nice. Shout out to him. Good
Oh,
looking
yeah.
out. Good looking out for sure. And that was pretty cool. Like every time, it was a long day. Sitting in, it actually started getting cold a couple days. Nothing. I mean, first frost and stuff. So we're still acclimating to that. So we get back to camp after a long cold day by the end of the day, and just to get back to warmth and start cooking with my boys and stuff. You know, it's something to be said about deer camp. It's like we often overlook. We all have the same objective, putting blood on the ground, but we often overlook what happened there, a little blip, the small shit, and around the campfire, I'm teaching old man Mark how to go on Snapchat and how to build his Bitmoji.
his Bitmoji. Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Yo,
I was dying. That was the funniest thing ever. And
that
if you
was
want to
good.
see that, you can see
is
that
live.
actually on our Instagram Live,
Yep.
or Facebook Live too. It's on there. So that was the funniest shit in the world.
hell yeah.
And now we can blow up our shit on the Snapchat group.
Right.
You know?
East Coast Bowhunting Podcast Snapchat group.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun because it looked just like him once we were done.
Oh, it did.
Oh, it did.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And you know, it was funny after everyone left, and it was just me and Ryan in camp, and we were sitting there yesterday, and we're just watching deer killing videos, just deer kills, and we're sitting by the fire, and we're drinking some deer blood, and it was just awesome. It was just after everything.
You like that shit, Jaeger?
What?
You like that shit?
It makes me think I'm
It's
17 again.
It's all right. I mean,
It
whatever.
tastes like black licorice to me.
It is.
it's
I mean,
good.
I never said it was good, but it was the only thing left. So
I'll stick to the Elijah.
But it was like so surreal to just be in deer camp
Right.
and just everything just come to a relaxation. It was great.
Deer
You know,
camp.
oh, with Shebeen.
Trev, we could go back tonight if we wanted to.
No.
You wanna?
No, I think we're gonna kill some ducks in the morning. We need
Are you?
some relief.
Ducks.
Yeah.
With your bow?
No.
No, I wish.
Shotguns.
No, we're gonna pile them up.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
Where are you headed? The same place? Where was that?
No. We're gonna stay
proper.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
gonna
out back.
Shoot
We're
some
gonna go
beaks
to the
off.
creek
We're gonna
in the
shoot some
back.
beaks off and
Nice.
call it a day. Should be nice and flooded. Hey, Trevor, I did not bring decoys, and I also left my ammo at deer camp.
Yo,
My shotgun shells. So I hope you. Got
Oh,
some.
we don't have any. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I'm not worried about that right now. Are you staying in the studio tonight?
No.
Oh. Well, then what?
Does
oh,
Trev's Euros do duck? Like duck skulls too with the beak and shit?
What?
Trev's Euros.
Oh, no. It's illegal because it's federal.
Oh, no kidding. That's
Yeah,
good
you
to know for the
can't.
new guys, you know?
Oh, no. You can't sell it, right?
You can't sell.
I think you
No,
could.
Oh,
you just
no.
can't.
You know what? I can't. It is federal, so I can't work on anything. I have to get a federal taxidermy license for doing anything that's a bird.
Really?
Yeah, it's a crock
How come you
of
haven't
shit.
followed through with that?
'Cause what the fuck do I want to do that? Then federal agents come to my house.
The same reason I became a scorer. For the love of the game.
No, I get it, but federal agents come to your house.
You don't want that shit?
No, I'm not trying to get them to like go through everything I have.
Well, why?
Why? What are you hiding,
Yeah.
Trev?
No, here's gonna
What
be
do you
proof.
hide?
Here's
No,
gonna be
it's
proof
just
of it right
weird.
here.
It's just
What do you
I don't
got?
know. They're a lot stricter than a
Whoa,
regular.
whoa! Whatever. Oh, Ryan's taking a break from the Shebeen.
Yeah, these are my water breaks in between.
What are you drinking for water breaks?
Bush Light for water breaks.
Oh snap! Oh, I'm actually.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
funny.
man.
That's exactly what we did at deer camp too. Is like when we took breaks from the Shebeen beer because this shit is strong as fuck, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
when we took breaks with the bush lattes.
Bush lattes. Oh yeah, gotta have lattes.
Yeah, I'm looking around. You know, Trev was a little under the weather. Trooper still duking it out. I wasn't feeling the greatest either, but Trev was working the seltzer in between Shebeens, but he's still rocking that Shebeen. I'm saying. Meanwhile, Ryan and I are fucking taking breaks with bush lattes in between.
Yeah.
Deer camp, man. Deer camp. You can only hunt. You only hunt till 4:30 right now. So what do you do?
I
the
know,
rest
isn't
of the
that
night?
crazy with the time change?
I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Damn, man. And you know what's crazy too is like, I think the rut is a little slower coming up, not
Very.
only because of food source change this year, but also it just feels like the weather and then the time change. Like time changes comes, right? Daylight savings time, but body doesn't change. So
No.
these deer are still coming out right at sundown.
Well, honestly, DRock, within the past 24 hours, things.
Why, you lie to me?
No, well, maybe.
Well,
Who
you
knows?
said honestly.
Who knows? Within the past 24 hours, things have changed drastically. We've seen there new bucks that have showed up on the property we were hunting within the past 24 hours. We Trevor, we drove out to the store the other night to get some supplies around 9:30, and we came back and there were some does on the side of the road. And I was focused on them, and all of a sudden Trevor goes, "How about the booner you're about to run over?" And I look right in front of me. I was looking at the does, of course, old backcountry road, and there's literally a booner standing 5 feet in front of the bumper of the truck,
No
just
shit.
just waddling down the road, waddling away. He had stickers coming out everywhere. He was just massive. He didn't know where to go, whether to go back to the does, whether to go out back where he came from.
Did you
'Cause
just skip over deer camp?
You guys got me
I know.
Caught me
It
off
just,
guard here.
no, it's not even that. I get it, man. I get it.
It was
We
just-
hunted
good,
hard, man.
We did.
Oh, we totally did. And I mean, every single day we saw a deer, but I don't think
Just range was an issue.
No,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
and
And at
it's
different times,
just
people
getting
got
them in
busted.
close and putting
Yeah,
them in
range,
there,
yeah.
and then them getting downwind and
Using
I mean, we're
our
hunting
new
these
custom-made game calls from NorEaster,
Yeah.
getting
Right.
them in close.
It was just one of those things. I mean, like the wind swirls on that big mountain, and every time the wind would change and this and that, and then you're constantly just second guessing yourself because things aren't coming together. It was tough.
Right. Let's hold off real quick and get into the tree stand safety harness donations, and we'll get right back to our experiences at deer camp. This way, this past week was the first week, and since we started this donation program, that I actually got a break from donating all those safety harnesses. I mean, thank you for everyone that contributed. I mean, we have all our friends. We could name and keep naming them off. Even NorEaster, when they came down, they brought boxes of
Right.
harnesses.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
And truth be told, it was kind of a break for my pocket to get a break from sending all these harnesses out. I mean, we're sending out, as a group, we're sending out to all across the nation, Alaska even. I haven't heard anything from Canada, but we're hitting it all over the place. And each time, it's costing me anywhere from $7 to $13. You do the math. We're up there. So, I mean, I want to continue doing and supporting good cause, so we're here for you. You can reach us out at www.eastcoastbowhuntingpodcast.com or at gmail.com. I think I do that every time, too.
Yeah, I do the same exact thing
And
every single time.
It's a long email. That's a long one.
It is.
I just made it really long so everyone would forget it.
And you can hit us, Trevor and I, on social media and any platform, Tumblr, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook,
You guys
IG.
are on Tumblr?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like a plague, yo. What do you mean, you guys? You see how he's talking?
I thought you meant individually. Like
No.
you guys-
The podcast.
Gotcha. I
That's
thought you meant-
mainly like business targeted.
Yeah, I thought you meant
Yeah,
individual.
D-Rock's,
Professional.
D-Rock's like, yo, bro, I don't think we can actually be on Tumblr because, like,
We swear and shit.
yeah, and it's like a serious
there.
place. I'm like, what
No,
the fuck?
it's not that serious. It's more business oriented, though. It
But I'm
seems
like, well, what does it really matter? We're serious people.
when we're in the woods, you got You're right. You're right. Goddamn right on that. But yeah, hit us up, and if you could reach out to PornStarRyan, right to my left.
What up?
Yeah, if you could reach out to him and get through the safety harness donations, we got a separate special surprise for you. You actually win something, believe it or not.
We do actually have giveaways, so.
But to get hold of PornStarRyan during his Runnin week, I mean, he's actually doing a new film. What's that called again? The Runnin Rump? Runnin Rump, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for a fill-in,
Yeah.
DRock. I can't make it. You available?
Maybe. I'm going to have to break out the thongs, I guess.
The banana hammock?
Yeah.
DRock.
DRock the
The
hammer.
porn star.
DRock the
fluffer.
hammer. No, fuck you.
DRock the
Fuck you,
fluffer.
motherfucker.
DRock the fluffer.
Only fluffing motherfuckers right here. But anyways, fluff this. But yeah, on a serious note, reach out to us. We'll get tree stand safety harnesses shipped out to you for free. All you have to do is give us our story. Give us your story. Let us know why you need it, why you need assistance. We want to get you safe. So reach out to us and we can make that happen. So let's go to what we were talking about earlier is our hunting experiences that we went through. Ryan, let's start with you. This past long ass weekend, while we're tired as hell, what happened?
This past beautiful vacation from work, of course, spent in the woods. Rockcation. It was a great time. I mean, I saw a deer every day I hunted. Actually, except for today. Today I did not see a deer. But I saw a deer every time I hunted besides today. It was just a range thing with me. Had them at 44 yards, 45 yards, 55 yards. They were all just a little out of range. A couple small bucks, a bunch of does. There was a few nights where there was the very first night Trev and I snuck into that swamp in that area where we found that shed that we've been dying to get into, and I had a doe come out 35 yards. She was in between a crotch of a tree though, and I had just a little bit to work with, and she didn't quite present herself quite right. So that
Not the way a porn star presents.
Not quite.
Official.
She's not full of estrus right now. So
I know, isn't that crazy how it just seems like the rut's coming late in
it
Connecticut?
is. No, like I said, DRock, we within the past 24 hours, we've been told. There were sightings today when Trevor and I were out hunting. Landowners came down and they saw a huge non-typical buck standing next to my pickup truck parked on the side of the road where Trevor was hunting.
Can you explain exactly what that is for new guys just getting into camping or hunt?
Well, you got your typical. So we'll start with a typical deer. Typical deer is when you look at it, it's a nice smooth rack. You got the brow tines, you got the G2s, you got the main beam, the G3s, however big it is. That's there's no other points other than that. Your non-typical is going to have what are known as stickers and drop tines, things that come out otherwise other than those usual tines. So that's a non-typical, and they said this thing was just had points going everywhere, big claws in the front, and it was standing right next to the truck that Trevor parked there, and he was hunting. Trevor, how far away were you hunting from that?
Like 200 yards.
Yep, and it was
shit.
actually jumped up by someone else, probably 150 yards from where I was hunting, and ended up way up by the truck where Trevor was. So it was they're starting to move now within the past 24 hours here. Things are changing. A lot of different bucks we've been seeing, hearing of a lot of different sightings. So unfortunately, I got to go back to work, but I may have to burn a sick day within the next few days here.
Yeah, especially with this rut trying to kick the way that it is.
Wednesday is going to be, unfortunately, it's the gun opener on Wednesday. So you got the Orange Army coming out, but
I'm actually gonna lay off on Wednesday for that.
Are you gonna get on part of the Orange Army?
No.
Are you enlisting?
No, definitely not. Truth be told, I do definitely not for nothing. I do want to try my new muzzleloader, but
muzzleloader is a good time.
Well, I mean, it's same concept as a bow, but it's not bow hunting. So I'm not going to neglect. But what I meant, I'm going to take a break on Wednesday, just kind of let the woods settle, so to speak, because opening day gun season's hectic. That shit is crazy, right?
Especially if you're hunting. I mean, public land in Connecticut, you can't hunt once gun season comes, but you can get in them bow hunting only areas if you want some sort of public land. But even on private lands, if my private land, I don't gun hunt on. It's big enough to gun hunt, but I only bow hunt it. And there's a lot of guys that gun hunt around it, so I'm kind of that little safety zone. So you kind of create safety zones being a bow hunter in the middle of a bunch of gun ruckus too. So
yeah,
you can use it as an advantage.
Right.
Sometimes you get close to those houses where all the deer are going to get pushed up to.
What are you doing Saturday, Ryan?
What am I doing Saturday? I got to work, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why?
Because Trev and I are doing all day.
Oh yeah, Trev
Yeah.
lasted until 10 a.m. on today's all day, 9:30.
No.
No, because
he's
I
gonna-
fucking forgot my phone.
No, Saturday's gonna be beautiful. Yo,
And I didn't
Not
see
only-
shit. So fuck off.
it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen.
It definitely happens.
I know.
let's hear about
doing
Trev's.
We're hitting it. Yeah, let's switch over to Trev.
I hunted my ass off. Saw
Get into
nothing.
detail, like
Until
for
today.
new guys. For new guys' sake.
No,
get
I
into it.
know. I'm just sorry. I'm a little sour on it.
Disgruntled.
But-
Blueberry
No, so
sour.
it was.
Blueberry sour.
Yeah,
Ooh.
exactly.
Thank
No,
you, Shebeen. Shebeen.
it was a really good week. We definitely I had a blast going to different places, doing different things, and hunting real hard. And it was tough hunting. I swear to God, every single day I was in the wrong place, the wrong time. Everybody else saw a deer,
Yep.
so I didn't see a deer until today, last day in camp, and I have a 115, 120 sneak in on me
Shooter deer.
at
Absolutely.
25 yards.
That was today.
Snuck
That was
right
today.
up on him.
What the
A
fuck?
couple
were you doing?
hours ago. Sorry, that's why I'm a little fucking sour today.
What were you
alright?
doing? What were you doing?
I was watching the field.
What do you mean watch? Oh, watching the field. You were hunting,
Yeah, and I was looking to, because there's a field set to my left.
and you don't look when, even if it's a squirrel, you don't look.
Well, I didn't want to swing real fast because it just was and then that was it. And I'm like, oh, there's something behind me, but I don't think it's that. No, I'm like, it must not have been nothing. And then it starts to move again, and I'm like, fuck. I can see I can catch it out of the corner of my eye, and I look. There it is, 115, 120, and he's standing 25 yards away from me.
That's crazy.
And then just kept going. But that
Well,
was
no,
also,
so it got into my wind, and when it got into my wind, it jumped back 3 feet, and then it pranced 3 times, and then it was behind me, and then it started to come around, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. All right, fuck, let's try and get that. And then he turned around the other way, and I snort wheezed at him real quick and grunted a couple times, and he just kept on
How'd you
going.
snort wheeze? You got a
I just
collar for
went,
that, or? Oh, you do it with your mouth?
Yeah, I
That's
just
it,
do it
man.
with my mouth, man.
That's awesome.
but you know what?
That's
So
cool.
the deer really haven't been responding to any calls. I saw 2 bucks. Sunday morning, I ended up actually trekking out of camp, and I went over to my personal property, and there was a lot of us in camp, and everyone was kind of spreading out throughout the stands. Like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna trek out of here real early in the morning before you get up. I'm gonna trek home and hunt my property. I had 2 small bucks come in. None of them they would look when I called. I tried some bleats, bring them back in. They were a little out of range, some grunts. They look, and then they just kept moseying on their way. So things are just starting to happen, but it's
I thought
coming,
it was
coming
on.
slow.
Because around Halloween time, that's why we were so excited about the rut activity last week, was because Halloween time, it was crazy. Every single camera was hitting. There was bucks bucks chasing the does.
Yeah,
and
the young bucks, right?
Yeah, and it was crazy. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I was
fucking
saying the
on.
same
We're going to be
thing.
in camp. It's going to be lights out, this,
Right.
that, and the other thing.
Right.
And then we get there,
I was
and there
out
was
Halloween too.
little to
Yeah.
no movement, and it was normal morning
They come
and
out
night.
as soon as the sun went down.
Right, they're
Remember
hiding-
that
they're
shit?
bedding
That happened
out
to you
there.
guys too, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
I mean
they're
they're
bedding all
just
day.
they're just
Yeah.
wicked nocturnal deer, and they're still doing the early season thing. They're like,
They're so lucky
it
we can't hunt at
sucks.
night. They're so lucky.
and
I'm saying.
it just sucked. And
I'm saying,
No, they're everywhere.
because I could still see them, but hey, you got to be ethical and you got to follow the rules. So
that's right. But they were just it was just tough. And then today today was the most movement yet, and there was just bucks all over the property. And of course tomorrow's gonna freaking pour, so that killed the day off of camp because we're supposed to still be
we're
in
moving
camp.
tonight, though.
Oh yeah, they were everywhere tonight.
I know.
I was pulling out of camp in the field. There's a sweet beet or a sugar beet turnip field. That's where all the deer go, and
They travel from miles.
they
to come to
travel
this.
from everywhere
They
to go
pile
there.
up.
That's we seen a
go to the
monster
beet
there
field.
last
That's
night.
where we saw the monster last night.
Oh, it was absolutely giant.
But you could tell something was getting the testosterone was getting to his brain. He was standing in the middle of the road just zigzagging back and forth, didn't know where to go.
He didn't want to
Starting
like.
to happen.
It's starting to happen.
Oh,
Their,
dude,
their
he
brains,
would,
they're getting a little stupid now.
He's like, I want to chase. I want to chase the does.
What are you doing
but I
Thursday?
don't. I want to chase the does, but I don't.
I think I'm getting sick. I might have to call out of work
Oh,
Thursday.
jeez. Here we go.
I got the
D-Rock.
sniffles.
D-Rock,
Yeah,
this
right.
deer was no more than me and Trevor away from the front of the truck.
Really?
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, man. That's what I mean. The deer been moving.
It's starting.
I mean,
It's starting now. It's starting.
It's getting going. I think this week it's gonna kick up. Somebody's gonna kill a giant soon. It's coming.
There's
We
been
just
some
gotta-
giants. Connecticut there's been some good bucks getting taken, but it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
heat up real quick.
But the rut, they're not chasing. They're not
No.
doing nothing. They're just
No.
those deer. They're like pre-rutting, and that's when they're getting them.
Yeah.
yo, I was so pumped too. You know, like we got in early Thursday night, and then you and I we actually did part 1 of the miniseries Thursday night with NorEaster. Ryan was tied up at work. I think filming Run Doggy Run. I don't know, something like that. And then he couldn't make it, so Trev and I just podcasted with NorEaster.
Right.
But Ryan's a trooper though, because anytime he could get out of work, and he's working class, so I mean, anytime he could get out, he's definitely here all the time. And we did the podcast real quick, and right away we went straight from there to deer camp, set it up, got the fire going. Waited for actually Ryan was there first, I believe.
Yes, I got
Straight
got
out
the
of
fire
work.
going. Straight
Yep.
out of work. Went home. I already had my truck backed, and I just said, I'm going.
Hell yeah,
I'm
that's the
going.
way to do it though. Working class.
Yep. There's
You know,
no
you
power. We were waiting on a generator still. I had no power. I had nothing. Just in the dark with a flashlight, getting that fire going for you boys. Come in.
Right. And you know what? Now that we've been saying working class, we just want to shout out working class bow hunter. I mean, if you ain't listening to us, you're listening to them, and you should be listening to them because I mean, out Midwest they're killing it, and across the nation on Carbon TV, you know, hitting it up is they're on fire right now. So shout out to you. Here's the Shebeen to you.
Ooh, what flavor is that?
That's a tree of life.
That tree
you
of
guys still
life,
work
son.
on that, huh?
We're passing around
That's
the tree
crazy.
of life.
That's crazy. That's good stuff. But cheers to you. So we'll take this time, you know, think we should get a hold of NorEaster Game Calls. Hit up Mark and Ethan and see if they're down in podcasts real quick. What do you think, Trev?
Yeah, let's call up Mark. Let's call up Ethan. Let's get this down.
All right,
Let's get them.
Cool. We'll be right back.
Let's get them
Yeah.
in close.
Yeah, let's get them in close.
Get them in close. My man.
So we're here back. We got Mark Buzz on the phone from NorEaster Game Calls. We couldn't get a hold of everyone right away. Tried to hit up Ethan, so we might get a hold of him tonight. Hopefully we do. But we got Mark on the phone, and we just want to recap and see what you thought. You know, hanging out in Connecticut with the boys at deer camp, living like kings. How did you like it, man?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. Number one, it's better. I actually thought it was better than staying in the hotel we stayed in last time, only because you could actually walk out the door and go hunt. I mean, we were there.
Hell yeah.
Didn't have to start any vehicles and drive them up and down the road or anything like that. It was really nice, and the camp was extremely comfortable. And of course, the camaraderie is the big thing.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Just sit around telling stories and what the day, everybody saw that day, and what was working, what wasn't working.
And eating for sure. We did some eating.
Holy jeez, yeah. I think I walked in there, but Ethan had to roll me out.
Yeah, it was good food. It was good. I mean, we had the hookup all the way around, you know? Everyone, I think, gets amped up. And you guys had the killer generator, though.
Yeah, that worked out fantastic, having the lights and, being able to turn on the fan on the wood stove and keep the heat moving around. And it was a good temperature for hunting, obviously. A little cold on the guys in the stands, but, it's that's part of hunting. That's what you really want.
Hell yeah. You want that temperature to drop.
And not to add that they had to fix our generator before they left.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they
no
did a little.
shit.
Yeah, they did some.
Some repairs.
Yeah, some MacGyvering.
Yeah, I already mailed the bill.
That's funny.
Hey, Mark, what you're gonna get in return is a thank you letter for that candlelit dinner we had together.
Spoken true from the porn star.
That's it. Oh, man.
So go, if you can, just play it. You know, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. We got there, I think about 8:30, and first night we arrived, which was Thursday night, and got all settled in, and realized that the camp we're in was actually, camp. It's not the Taj Mahal by any means, but it's really nice as far as comfort, place to hang out with everybody. We all made our game plans on. We were headed, and of course, I wanted to head back to my stand first thing in the morning, where I saw that big buck to see if I could possibly get another shot at him.
Of course.
And everybody else went their separate ways. I didn't see anything that day. Basically started picking stands here and there. I was the only one Trevor as well. Neither one of us were really seeing everything. Other people were seeing some deer and stuff, but really, my deer came to view. I think that was second to the last day. I was sitting in one of the stands in the evening, and it was either a doe or a buck. Either way, it was a pretty small deer at about 45 yards or so, which I just wasn't comfortable throwing an arrow at that distance. I'm comfortable 30 and 40, but not anything over that to be in a good ethical shot. I didn't want to mess up the shot, and that's tracking deer all night long with something that's wounded. So
Right.
nice to see. I did go for a walkabout because I got too cold in the stand and jumped another one at like 20 yards. So there's plenty of deer there. The rut's just not quite in full swing yet. I think they're just kind of sniffing right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it seems like. For
Yeah,
sure.
and I didn't tell you this neither, Mark, but yesterday after you guys had left, me and Ryan went down to the gas station, and there was a couple of does in that turned up beet field, the one when you're leaving camp on the left there. And
Just before the bend there.
yeah. And there was like 5 or 6 does in there, so we're like, whatever, we're gonna go down and grab a coffee or whatnot and some snacks for the next day. And we're driving back, and we're just watching the 5 or 6 does. They're still bedded on the side of the road in the beet field. And I turn to my left, and there's this giant, like, 140, 150 just walking down the middle of the road, and Ryan's not even paying attention. I'm like,
5
dude,
feet
hold
from
on.
him.
You're going to hit him. And he turns, he's like, holy shit, that thing's a
It was
giant.
huge, just walking the road
And he's
5
like-
feet from the truck.
He's
That's
like
crazy.
staggering left or right. Like, he doesn't know if he wants to chase the girls or go run away. He doesn't know what to do. He's like,
Oh,
he's
because
like
of the
starting-
headlights?
Yeah.
Well, no, he's just starting to get like disoriented.
stupid,
You can
yeah.
tell that the testosterone is starting
Right.
to kick. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It was
I think for
pretty
you
big.
guys, this next week coming up, probably by the end of next week,
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be really full blown, but it'll be the end of this week before I think you guys really see the bucks starting to put their nose down on the dirt and just walk forward.
Yeah.
Right now they're just kind of winning a few here and there, but I don't think your does are in full heat yet.
No,
No.
they're not. They're not.
I mean, we started to see our first set of movement today, because
Yep.
that the buck that Ethan had come in on him when I went back in there today, and that buck was actually, he showed up and it was like 3:15 today.
Yeah, see, that's about the same time Ethan saw him, so that kind of gives you a little insight too over me being the old man. When you have these bucks that are continuing the same trail, they're still not heat.
Right.
Because he would be following does and not his local run that he takes to go check on them.
Right. Right.
He'd just be chasing does around in circles down, in the low-lying land or on the edge of a grassy field. He'd be hanging inside the woods watching around to see if he can get to one without getting shot. But
Right.
yeah, most of the time the big bucks up here, they've got a real good pattern you can follow. Once you find them, where they go when they're bedding, then they're going back to feed. But once they get into full rut, you can't find those guys anymore. You got to find the does first.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
But no, I
That's
think
awesome.
you guys will really start seeing some monsters coming out down there. There's some really nice mature bucks on that property. When I was walking the road in behind where I was sitting, there's a dirt road with some sand on it because we had that pouring rain the night before.
I know that was
So
sick. The
it
night I
really
left,
washed out all
actually.
those track traps. So everything I was looking at was going to be fresh. And there's some pretty decent deer that are right close to camp and down that road, just meandering up and down and crossing the hills to go up into the food plots.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to actually just be chasing does and just be all over the place.
Yeah, because we all know does are a lot easier to get on than a trophy buck. And once the bucks are on the does, well, it's a 2-for-1.
Right. Absolutely.
We always like the twofer.
Yeah.
Right, Ryan?
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. Well, Mark. Actually, when Trevor was up in that stand and had that same buck came by, I met him up on the road and he was coming to pick me up, and the landowners came by, and they saw a big non-typical buck standing by the truck that Trevor parked, and he was right next to us. So the same place
While he
you
was
and
in his tree.
the same place you and Ethan park, they came in 4:15, and there was a big non-typical buck standing next to the truck.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
A buck that they've never seen. They've never seen this buck, so things are moving, things are happening. Within the past 24 hours, things have really changed.
It's almost
Yeah,
like
it
we
doesn't
jumped
take
the
long.
gun.
I mean, once those does cycle, it's on.
Yeah.
There's just
Right.
no turning it back then.
Right.
So that'd be really good if another mature buck gets in there and gets some of his genes into that area for you guys as well.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what'd you think of those gnarly spots, though? All the spots to sit in. Weren't those pretty damn... It was badass, right?
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, the spot where some idea is a little tight. That's more for you guys, more seasoned bow hunter. You got about 3 to 5 seconds to get it done. So you got to be pretty quick. If your bow's on the hanger, you got to be ready to rock and roll. And I always seem to stumble trying to get my release hooked on, and and then kind of jiggle around a bit. But
yeah.
up on the ridge where I was with Ethan, where he saw that buck, and other place, wow! I mean, you could see these guys coming for 80, 90 yards away.
Yeah.
So you got plenty of time to get ready. Again, the other stand that I was in where I saw that bigger buck that I missed, that's another great spot. You've got plenty of time when those deer are walking from behind you or beside you. Like I said, any of those places, they're just absolutely fantastic. It's amazing how many little spots there are in there with stands already to rock and roll.
Yeah, they really take care of us down there. It's so nice. It really works out
fantastic. Well. You really couldn't ask for a better spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how many stands would you say we had to play with there? 12 stands probably.
Yeah, probably a dozen different stands. And then every time that we see him, he gives us another piece of property.
Yeah,
is that crazy?
You go down this road to that road, and there's 6 stands in here down by the stone wall and the break in the wall. We're like, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how many stands they've got up. I mean, we've all said the same thing when we're looking at. Some of them haven't been used in 20 years.
Oh yeah.
But that's why they're allowing the young guys to get in there and start a new generation of hunting. They've done their hunting. They've got all their big bucks and their stories, and now they want to pass it on to you guys, which is absolutely fantastic. They're great guys, and to pass on, hey, walk up here, we've seen bucks here, and then you hear the stories of the old days of how many big deer they shot in there, and it gets you all excited. You run in there and you actually see why. I mean, where they position them, and how everything is set up, that you can see it happening. And again, it's you guys are kind of jumping into this without having a full season to really just scout all the property to find those funnels and where everything's coming in. So we're kind of haphazardly just jumping around and kind of hoping for the best. But everybody's now starting to hone in on, okay, this is where I need to be.
Right. And it's so nice. Like we were talking about it before, and you know what I'm saying? Just I was hopping around from spot to spot to spot and scouting this spot and that spot, and then going and sitting in this one. Yeah, and you're just jumping all over. And Mark's like, you got to go to one stand, you got to sit there and just let it happen.
Like Friday morning,
Mark.
Mark.
Exactly. Call it home and don't move. Find the stand that you think is the best, and be it a morning stand or an afternoon stand. The area is a little different than mine. When I hit a stand, I stay there from sun up to sundown. I don't move. But in some of the areas down there, you really have morning and afternoon stands.
Right.
Yep,
you want to get in there in the morning. You're not going to interrupt anything that's in a food plot. And then you can leave there and go somewhere in the afternoon if you want to. But, once you find your spots, I think you pretty much want to just lock it right up and call it yours and just sit there and wait for it to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, some of those spots they've got are just fantastic. You just got to put a massive amount of hours in, and that big raunchy buck's going to walk right past you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Like, Mark, I don't know if you even knew about this. I don't know if I mentioned it at all. But Friday, after the Friday morning sit that we did, and we're going back to camp, I actually I bumped into Ryan and Trev where they were first sitting, and just coming in, there was a little bachelor, young bucks, a bachelor pad of them, right off the swamp where you and Ethan hunted the very next day. Right off the swamp, grazing right there in the field on the tree line. And just to see that, it's like, that's the way hunting is. You go into your tree, you sit all morning, you wake up at the ass crack of dawn, you sit all morning, and then you come back, then you start seeing the bucks. It's like, all right. You're like, and that's what it is. That's why I'm just reiterating what you said. It's all about, learning the land and getting in there at least a half season in, so this way you can learn it. And picking the right tree, jumping from your morning set or changing up on your afternoon set. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
The does not going to change their pattern. They're just kind of a creature of habit. They don't care if they're in heat or not. They don't chase the bucks. They bed, they feed, they bed, they feed, and that's their pattern. So like I said, if you guys get in there early next year and start really messing around and find out what these does are doing, what time they're doing it, and maybe get some game cameras out, it's going to tell you what's going to happen when the rut happens.
Absolutely.
Yes, the does get chased around a bit by the bucks and knocked out of the field or pushed into the woods, but they come right back. So that's the main key ingredient to getting a big buck down there is find out what these does are doing. Like that stand I was in where I saw that doe. That's a fantastic spot, and I think it's more of an evening spot than a morning spot, and it's going to work out for somebody, and even on that ridge where Trevor was, that buck's going to traverse that every time he wants to go check those fields to see if there's a doe in there. Yeah. And if there is, he's going to show himself up.
Right. And he lives there, so
Right.
he's always there. So it's
Yeah,
always
absolutely. He lives there for now, and like I said, once they go into full rut and so forth,
Then they're
he'll
running.
occasionally visit that spot, but he'll be all over the place.
right.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be 100 different bucks that go through that spot.
Oh, yeah.
Over the rut.
Monsters.
Yep,
They're-
exactly. And that's what you're looking for, is that funnel where almost all the deer kind of traverse it. They kind of like it. It's enough cover for them so they don't get seen. They feel safe there. Nobody's ever put any pressure on them. And you'll get a majority of the bucks and the does traveling through that area. And that's, like I said, that's when you just got to sit there all day. And again, as a bow hunter now, it's tougher. I mean, I had it pretty cushy, as a rifle hunter. I just, you put yourself in a box blind, you put your heater in there, and you got your big thermos of coffee. And not with you guys, you sit there and about 2 hours later, you're like, what's that noise? Oh, that's my teeth again rattling. I mean, it's ridiculously cold. It reminds me of the old days before we had any heaters or anything like that. I mean, you guys are hardcore.
Yeah.
And, that's why I love hooking up with you guys. A lot of guys that I had on pro staff and guys that I hunt with, it's a pastime. It's a hobby. To you guys, it's a way of life. I mean, you eat it, you breathe it, you sleep it, you do it. And that's a big difference between you guys and some of the other guys. You don't, oh my God, it's a little too windy, I'm not going today. I'm going, and I'll find a stand that works.
We appreciate the kind words, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's actually what we strive to do.
It means a lot. That's what we live by. I mean, tomorrow's supposed to rain, so I think we might go chase them greenheads in the morning, Mark.
I would.
Right.
I'd go get myself some ducks, and as soon as that rain let off, I'd be in a nice evening stand where them bucks are going to be running around.
Wow,
Hell
you
yeah.
know us all too well.
Yeah, what, you talked to him earlier? What's going to go down? Shit.
Either that, Mark, or we're gonna go sit the Ritz in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
If that's a nice place to sit as well.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that, hunting all the years, it's amazing how weather doesn't bother deer.
Nope.
When I was up here hunting I come down to you folks when I was out rifle hunting, we had 50-mile-an-hour winds that afternoon with rain. I mean, pouring rain sideways. And here comes these does. They walk right out in the field, chewing up the grass. I'm like, unbelievable. Because to them, it's just another day. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's like going fishing, Mark. The fish are already wet.
Right.
They just don't care. It's something they got to do. And, and up here, that's why I always like to try to tag out early so that I can actually duck hunt in November. But, if you guys ever get a chance to do both, and you can in that area, it's pretty fantastic. I mean, how that's set up where you guys can actually go duck hunt there if you wanted to, and then head out afterwards.
Right, exactly.
And you got the fresh salmon run right on the side. Right on the side of the camp.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it truly is. It's quite a unique place. Like I said, hopefully you guys will be able to give that place many, many years of your time. And just imagine 10 years from now, how bad you'll have that place mapped out in your head. You guys will be fighting over who's going where.
we already do.
We do now.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
And
we were really excited too because we were able to use those new NorEaster game calls.
You just stole the words right out of my mouth, man.
yeah.
For real, though. We were so amped. You bringing those handmade.
We're all playing with them. I fucked mine up in the first 30 seconds.
So did the
playing with
Mexican.
it.
So did the Mexican.
Oh, yeah, now you got rough fingers friggin' playing with the call.
Yeah, Trevor fucked his up like 3
but
times more.
Those are all semi-prototypes as well, so I learned something as well that I want to notch them for the big fingered fellas like Trevor.
Trevor
I'll
goes,
notch that call so that
Trev's
slide will go in
bloopers.
and out of there a little easier so that he doesn't look like a 3-year-old that somebody just took his Tonka truck out of the freaking sandbox.
Mark, can you tune this for me? I fucked it up again.
yeah, he just looks at me with them big eyes. I broke it again.
It was funny to see it. We look like 3 little kids playing with new toys. Where, Mark?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, so
man.
the new batch will be out soon. I'm going to make sure I make some calls to you guys on that cholla cactus with any color that you
that'd
guys
be
want. I
sick.
think we discussed it. We want to do the blood red inside
Oh,
the
that's
cholla
beautiful.
cactus hole.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
also
We're
an
gonna have
art,
some
like
really
you
unique
said.
dolls it'll actually look like I'm going to open the holes up and make it look like blood is dripping down the call.
That's going to be hot.
Yeah, I
That's
can't wait.
awesome.
That's gonna be hot.
I'm so excited.
Hey, Mark, we got into a conversation quick over there at Deer Camp. How it's not only just something you do and your passion and your love past the hobby, but it's also like a thin line of artwork too.
Oh, his knives are beautiful.
It is, yeah. When it gets into custom knives, it really is artwork. And I'm slowly kind of bringing that into the game calls because, game calls are always kind of basic. There's not much you can do with them, but I'm trying to
look
bring
sick,
that
though.
into it so that I can don't just leave it the way it is. See if you can improve it and also make it a piece of art where when somebody throws it down on the counter at Deer Camp, everybody's going to look at it and go, where the hell did that come from?
Absolutely.
Right.
Your work is, you're an artist with the stuff that you're making, that cactus acrylic, those knives you showed me the pictures of. Ooh, everyone's cracking beers here.
Hey,
it's just beautiful work, Mark, and it's
I appreciate
excellent.
it. Like I said, and I'm going to try to bring that into these calls. You guys will be the first 3 to get the. We'll have to kind of coordinate together on what we're going to call them. Like I said, as far as lung
East
shot,
Coast
liver
series?
shot, whatever you want to do with them, for giving them a name, and we'll carry it forward that way. But you'll have the first 3 that hit the market.
So we'll do
kind
this.
of show off, and I
we'll
think
do
they'll be pretty impressive.
Are you just exclusively shouting out the new East Coast Bowhunting podcast
blood
edition?
series, series,
I
East
think
Coast,
so. I think that's pretty much. They're going to be the first 3 that hit the market. You guys are getting them.
East
And,
Coast
like I said,
Bloodcast.
We'll kind of collaborate together to come up with a name for the calls, and then after that, they'll go onto the website, and I think we'll kind of
let's do
put
the
your name
bow
and my
hunters
name on it
edition.
so that everybody knows that they're exclusive from the East Coast Bow Hunters. And if you want one, that's how it's going to be. It's going to have that name and have
That's
my name and
badass.
your name on
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
The East Coast Bow Hunting Blood Series.
Yeah.
I think we ought to do that. It'll be a limited edition. I'll probably put out 20 of them. Will be probably the maximum amount I'll do of them for the first run.
Unless you
And,
get overrun
like I said,
by
we'll definitely keep it exclusive to the East
popular
Coast
demand.
Bowhunters.
Yeah, we're
that's
gonna
badass.
have to,
Mark.
that would be awesome. We'll definitely. I think our boys out in the Midwest might scoff that up.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Mark's
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited to see. I can see it already done in my head. I just haven't done one yet. I think Brian and I kind of talked about it, and DRock and I kind of discussed about opening the holes up, making it look like blood is just
Bleeding
dripping
out.
of
Yeah,
this
like you
ball.
got shot. That's badass.
awesome.
That is
Hell
great.
yeah.
That's sweet. Thanks, Mark. That just makes it right there. That's what it's all about.
You just made Trevor's day after missing the opportunity at that
absolutely.
deer.
Yeah, and then like I said, once that's done, you can transverse that into the duck calls, the goose calls, and
Right.
once I get this pattern on how to get it done and do it, we can put it in any call we want, and go from there with it, and change the colors up, whatever we want to do. If we want to do an valley call, we can put it with green acrylic or whatever we want to do.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it was kind of cool too. Also, another topic, but that when we were in deer camp, Mark gets a couple of notifications, and some of the CT boys actually were buying calls while we were in deer camp.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Yeah. No, there was. I got 2 more orders right from Connecticut, and another one on the way home from up here in Maine.
And it was
Yeah,
Connecticut?
it's kind of fantastic that you know that's where it's coming from. So it's absolutely fantastic.
And it
It's
was-
just gonna add more money to the pot for donations to East Coast Bowhunting to give away.
Right, absolutely.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Mark, I know earlier. It's that time.
Uh-oh.
You hear that?
I hear some antlers
What
rattling.
rattles your antlers?
I hear some antlers rattling.
Hey, Mark, welcome to the next segment is What Rattles Your Antlers? We were hunting hard this past weekend, and it was a long weekend, and our bodies took a hit and we're hurting. So that brings us to what rattles your antlers. I know you got something to say. What rattles your antlers, Mark?
Oh boy, I would say unethical hunters. The guys that just don't care. They know you're in there. They'll drive their 4-wheeler down through, or it just drives me nuts. Sometimes they're anti-hunters, but most of the time it's guys that they don't do any scouting whatsoever, but they'll follow you. And I've had that happen up here where people know my truck and they'll be like, "Oh, I wonder where he is," and they'll actually go right into the woods to find out where you are, and it just drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
That
That's
would
the worst.
drive me nuts.
Hell yeah.
It is, and they will set up a stand, 20, 30 yards from you, and there's nothing you can do about it,
Right.
because other than cut their tree down. Well, the trees usually fall down on their own, but
Reminds me of the douchebag. If Mark, I don't know how long you followed us on the podcast, but if you listened to, what was it, the second
Opening day.
episode?
Opening
Was it
day.
It
opening
was
day?
opening day, so it would have been the second one.
yeah.
And DRock had the douchebag, which he came in and he was wearing orange. He left it at the bottom of his tree. Mind you, you don't need orange. It's opening day.
September.
Yeah, and he was like 15 yards from DRock.
And nah, he was a good 40, 60, but he was. I still shined him down, and he still came in, still set up right in front of me.
Like 50
I mean, that's
yards
even,
from the road.
yeah, fucking douchebag. I mean, you could get hurt that way. It's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bad idea. And like I said, a lot of these guys, sometimes they don't know they're doing it, and when they realize they are, they just I don't know. I guess their mom didn't hug them when they're little.
Mothers, make sure you hug your little ones.
You guys and myself and Ethan, we would. If I walked into somebody, I'd almost be kicking my ass all the way back out there, going, "Wow, how dumb was that?"
Right. Exactly.
You know, and I'd want to apologize to him when I saw him again. If I ever did, I'd be like, "Man, I am so sorry." You know. It's just like duck hunting. You know, you could be driving up, be like, "Oh, I can't wait to get around the corner." You drive in, and somebody shines a flashlight. Like, "Oh, crap!" You know.
Yeah.
You start your motor and you leave. But no, there are some guys out there that, like I said, once you guys are known for shooting big bucks, trust me, there's guys they're gonna follow you.
Right. Exactly. And it happens. It's part of it.
Yo, Ryan, Mark. Now that we're on the subject, let's ask PornStarRyan what rattles his antlers.
What rattles my antlers? White-tailed deer rattle my antlers, man. We've been chasing these damn things, and they are just out of range. You think they're going to come in on this giant run, all of a sudden they come over here where they're not even supposed to be. White-tailed deer rattle my antlers, man.
I agree. Especially when they're 45 yards out, which you ran into yourself.
Oh, yeah. And Mark, you know what? You told me 5 yards doesn't make a difference, but then you told...
No,
you
for
also,
you guys have been freaking for many years, but
you're
again,
right.
It's all what you feel comfortable with.
Right. But like you said, Mark, I'm not going to spend my night chasing around a doe because I took a 50-yard shot at it, but I'll spend my night taking a, hike looking for a 200-inch deer that I took a 50-yard
all day long.
Yeah.
But a little
It's a bigger body. The bigger body.
It's a way bigger target at 55 yards, But white-tailed deer rattle my antlers.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. You know, it's easy to be the armchair quarterback till it happens to me the next night. It was like karma.
Right.
Exactly.
Hey, Trev, what rattles your antlers?
What rattles my antlers?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with guys on quads. So one actually on the top of the property, there's an access road or an easement,
yep.
And the guy owns 40 acres in the back. Well, we got in stand this morning. The ass crack of dawn, and this guy comes down. I'm in my stand, and I'm sitting there, and it's pitch black. And this guy comes down with a SUV. I mean, a UTV, side by side.
Side by side.
I'm like, you motherfucker!
Like
damn.
I know.
And I'm all set in, and it was perfect.
I couldn't hear it from where I was, but it was. Well, Trevor said it was like shooting time. This guy came through, and we got there so early because it was that set that we've been waiting all week to sit, and it was that morning we were gonna sit it, and here comes this guy. Like, come on.
Yeah. What rattles your antlers, DRock?
Me?
Yeah.
Ask me again.
What rattles your antlers?
Hunting hardcore and nothing to show for it.
Oh.
I mean, how hardcore can you get and still not come up with something? Where, Mark?
I agree. I mean, I thought for sure one of us was going to tag up for sure. Ethan did have the chance. He passed on the spike horn.
He did spike, yeah.
I said he's a slayer, but he passed on it because he knows, he only had one buck tag left. And he
so even slayers have their limit, huh?
We were at the grocery store. I'm like, dude, should we buy some Lucky Charms? He's like, I don't actually eat it.
I think he carries a little bag of them in his pocket.
He pops them in like Altoids.
That's right.
Ethan is a very good hunter. He's a good hunter.
And he does. He picks to it. He doesn't take the cereal. He just takes those little marshmallows.
Now they got the unicorns on there, though, Mark. So he probably eats a ton of unicorns.
Exactly.
That's
I don't know what he's doing, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. So we have all the giveaway things. That's an awesome thing, Mark. We can't thank you enough for that. That's
thank you so much, Mark.
A great thing. So when Mark came down, Mark gave us a giant box of just
goodies,
miscellaneous
goodies for the woods.
And we can't wait. We're actually gonna shout out NorEaster Game Call and East Coast Bowhunting. We're gonna do a couple different giveaways. We're gonna do one on Facebook, and I think we're gonna do one on Instagram. And so I think we're gonna post the rules on both those platforms and on how to do it, and you can follow it along there. So,
and they're gonna be two different giveaways, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna do
prizes.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one package for Instagram and one package for Facebook.
So if you want both packages, you're gonna have to bite on both socials.
Right. So we'll do like and like and share.
Tag.
Yep. And you gotta go like
we'll do the rules.
Calls.
We'll do the rules.
Yeah.
Let's not get specific. We'll do the rules. Come follow us on social media, right, Mark?
Yeah. Just get on the social media. Check us out. We'll have the rules there. I think that's the way to do it.
Make sure to follow NorEaster Game Calls and East
And
Coast Bowhunting
Bowhunting
Podcast.
Podcast.
So this way you know what the rules are. Ryan, what you
Now,
got?
Trev, you want to touch a little bit on what these giveaways are going to be?
No.
No,
It's
okay.
gonna.
Keep
We're
it vague.
you want to
all
see
right.
it? You gotta come find
Oh,
it.
you
No
gotta
se
come
diga.
find it. But let's say it's
No
some
se
good
diga.
stuff. It's some good stuff. It's some
Yeah,
good
no,
stuff,
but Mark
guys.
was nice enough. He brought us down over $1,000 in goodies. So there's a ton of stuff for giveaways. We're gonna have a ton of giveaways from both NorEaster game calls and East Coast Bowhunting. So
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. I said the more they buy from me, the more stuff I bring down for giveaways. So the more everybody is going to make out like a bandit.
Everybody wins. Everybody
it.
wins.
Right.
and if you get the time, go to NorEasterGameCalls.com. Check them out. Anything you want, anything custom. When we were in camp, some of the things that Mark showed us, from the knives to
beautiful.
the calls, he brought down one of the cactus with the acrylic calls. One of the
some
goose
scents.
calls.
Even some
the
scents.
scents. Oh, that not
Estrus and Trail
the Estrus,
Maker.
the trail maker. I mean,
The
Ryan,
scrape set.
when Mark, you gave us that scent, and Ryan took it down to one of the spots, and the doe came right into
Yep,
the estrus.
right
that
into
sprayed.
it.
Yep. So I was
Sniffing
in
it
the
up.
spot, and Mark has a trail maker that you put on your boots. You know, you make some trails. It's just a mess of urines that smells like typical deer coming
Just
through.
travel. Right.
Just traveling through. And then he's also got an estrus spray, which I was spraying along trees as I go. This doe came right in 35 yards, and she's just sniffing this tree that I
And you
smelled.
passed, right?
I just couldn't get a clear shot. This is the one that was in the V of the tree that she never
That's
gave me
the
a clear
worst.
shot. But I was ranging her head. I'm like, how far is that head away?
Yeah.
But but she was smelling that scent. She
Yeah,
was
and
smelling that scent, and she had no problem with it. She enjoyed it. She sat there for a while smelling that. So it's definitely some good, clean, pure scents that the deer have no problem with.
He's got
they
the
like
scent
it.
eliminator.
No
and the
research.
scrape
And
maker.
there's a scent eliminator and
Exclusive.
a scrape maker.
Yeah,
So
and all that
Mark's-
stuff's going to be brand new to the website. You guys are the first ones to get your hands on it, and I've been using it for about a year. I tested it on coyote hunting and deer hunting, and really it took me a long time to convince this supplier to supply to me, because he supplies to some pretty big outfits, and he finally. I think I broke him down. If he calls for me long enough, usually you can break him down.
Yeah,
I
right.
got it, and I started using it, loved it, got my label made up, and got things done. So I'll be getting some pictures of that and get it on the website, so that if people want it, it's going to go out. It's not going to be that expensive. I mean, it's going to be probably $10 a bottle, and
that's
that
not
stuff
bad.
will last you
it's
quite a
great.
while.
Now listen, guys, this is pure stuff. It's not you're not going to the store. You're not getting that buck bomb, that spray
You
stuff.
can't
that
find that
synthetic
anywhere.
Stuff.
No,
This
the
is
scent
pure, good
eliminator
stuff.
and the scent eliminator Mark makes.
Yeah, Mark makes it himself. He
Yes.
actually, he creates this scent eliminator, and it's
Yeah,
it's
that's
good stuff.
that's a recipe I got from an old fella a long time ago that told me about it, and I've used it for years, and it's always worked for me. I've had great luck with it.
If
And
you're-
like I said, it's worked fantastic. And it's kind of one of those home recipes that they don't usually share. That's kind of a trade secret. So it's basically just for NorEaster. That's something I won't share. And it's just going to stay in my pocket and continue to give it out to other people that want to try it.
That's right.
Right.
And he used it on coyote hunts. So if
Yeah,
you
coyotes
can
are-
use it on a coyote,
They make deer look kind of foolish when it comes to sight and nose. They're just smart boys. And I'll tell you, that trail maker or the doe estrus for cover scent, there's nothing better than that, because a lot of times you set up in a field and the wind will change on you for coyote hunting, and I usually try to set up crosswind as much as I can, but sometimes those boys don't want to play that game, and I'll mist it right in the air, or I'll mist it on my way in.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
It really makes a big difference. They
Yeah.
feel a lot more secure. They just can't pick that human scent up over that doe estrus scent.
Right.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I used so much of that stuff this weekend. I feel like I'm still smelling it right now. I was having at it.
I was doing the same thing. I was in my stand, and I go and I spray it in the crosswind, and I
Yeah.
get it all on my face, and like my upper lip would smell like
it's
it.
in your
That's
beard.
nasty.
Yeah, I had that too. The wind changed as I was spraying. It hit me right in the beard, so it stuck to my beard. I'm sitting. I'm like, well, at least the deer are gonna like me. I don't like it, but
Hey, Mark, the youngins talking about the mistakes we learn from, right, Mark?
Oh boy, yeah, I could go on and on. We had a guy at hunt camp up here. He was brand new. He came up from Massachusetts. He'd never been. He got his hunter safety course done and all that stuff. It was a few years back when they first started the hunter safety course, and we all jotted out of camp. We're all going to our stands over there in Stetson, and it was Greg's brother-in-law, and we're headed down this dirt road, and all of a sudden everybody just kind of stops and looks at each other, and we all had the same scent, which was, who the hell's got that much dopey on? That's impossible. And the closer we got to this guy, we're like, holy crap, dude, you got to walk behind us. That is insane. What did you do? He's like, you put the port all over your clothes.
Yeah.
He soaked himself in DRock. I mean, it was basically take the cap off my bottle and just keep sniffing it on the
Oh, man.
This sounds like me all weekend.
No, Mark, when you mentioned the guy from Mass, I thought you were talking about Pistol Pete.
Oh, yeah.
Porno Pete.
No, Porno Pete.
Convinced him. I bet we could have if he said that, you got to dump that on your clothes, dude.
He's probably gonna be our number one listener, so we're not really gonna talk about him much. But
He was-
Trevor gave him his phone number, and they're gonna be boys. Pistol Pete / Porno Pete.
Yeah, yo,
Yeah,
he was
those
good
guys are pretty
company, though.
fantastic. And like I said, you never know. You're down at a hunting
Really
camp
was.
and somebody walks in the door and you get to hear new stories again.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
He was
Here-
good company,
here's-
though. He was a good talker.
Yeah, here's the beer,
Yeah.
here's the food. Let's hang out and have a good time. That's it.
And he's a hunter. So,
Right.
That's
Every
it takes.
hunter is
You gotta
welcome.
fit in.
Right.
That's right. Absolutely. I think he's coming back down, they said, for shotgun season.
Yeah, and you
so
know
he's
what?
giving it hard. So.
And you know what? He had a hard day. He had a hard time that day. He was hunting, similar property that we were, kind of butts to it, and he shoulder hit a doe, and didn't kill it. So we, helped him out with a little comfort food, some steak, some venison, some boar. We had all kinds of stuff and some beer. And we comforted him a little bit. It ain't
The
easy.
fiddleheads that Ethan brought.
Yes, fiddleheads and
fiddleheads.
ramps.
Yeah,
We had
that
ramps.
was really good.
We had ramps that Trevor and I picked in the spring. I blanched them and froze them, and they were good. So we gave him a little comfort food because it ain't easy losing a deer. So,
No.
Pistol Pete,
Absolutely.
shout out to you for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah.
So Mark, hey, man, I just wanna really, we all wanna thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I mean, you made deer camp fun. I mean, we're gonna make this happen. Your business is gonna explode because you make top quality stuff. Every hunter needs what you have to offer, especially what we go into the woods with. Using your game calls, it was just a different experience, and we really appreciate it. So,
It's fantastic. Listen, it's going to be kind of great now. We get to do this every year, and we'll just keep adding on to it.
the
That's
new
right.
the new
Sometimes
ritual,
we'll come down,
so
we'll
to
do some green
speak.
head hunting and get some deer hunting in and try to do a little bit of everything. And I said, you boys are welcome up here in this state anytime.
Oh, I can't
Oh,
wait.
we're
We're
coming.
going to take you up on
We're
that. Don't worry,
coming.
Mark.
We're coming.
We're coming.
Ethan is knocking down some pretty good expanded archery zones, and I said that I think we got some bucks in here you guys can find.
Yeah.
We can get you set up.
Yeah, me and Ethan were talking about, we're going to put in for our moose tag with the bow.
Absolutely.
That's
I think
exciting.
you should. I mean, I've shot one. It was 986 dressed, 55 and 3/4 inch spread, big boy.
That's
shot
some
it with
meat.
a rifle. You definitely could have shot it with a bow. It was about 40, 50 yards out. But
Yeah.
That's a big target at 40,
I
50
think
yards.
you guys would really enjoy that. It would be really a hunt of a lifetime.
Oh, I'm excited.
Hell yeah. So what you're saying, Mark, is Connecticut's going to bring the NorEaster to Maine, and we're going to make this happen. So on that note, Mark, stay steppin'.
And stay slaying.